The operator asked in surprise. You ran into someone else's yard and cut off the daffodils grown by someone else? Yes, Mrs. Wilson blurted out. He planted that daffodil in front of the wall. I thought it was leeks, so I cut a few handfuls and went home to eat and then got poisoned. Do you think he committed a crime? The operator said helplessly, I'm sorry, lady. Our law does not prohibit any citizen from planting daffodils in his own yard, so there's no problem with others planting daffodils at home. The key is, why do you want to go? In the yard of someone else's home, how about cutting other people's daffodils as leeks for eating? You are already suspected of breaking into the house and stealing other people's property. What's the thing? Old Mrs. Wilson asked annoyedly. I am poisoned and lying in the hospital now. Have I become suspected of committing a crime? The operator asked seriously. If someone comes to your house and stole your car and then died in a car accident, can he also sue you for your car? Old Mrs. Wilson was speechless at once. Only then did she realize that Charlie had no problem planting daffodils at home. The problem was that she could not go to someone's house to steal others' daffodils. It seems that Charlie had planned for this a long time ago, deliberately planting daffodils that looked like leeks in the yard, and then deliberately lured her to mow, and he didn't have to bear any responsibility. Thinking of this, old Mrs. Wilson hated this in her heart. Didn't this show that Charlie had been ruthlessly calculated? Moreover, her family of 5 has gone to the hospital and can only suffer from this dumb loss, and there is no way to trouble him. This kid is such a bastard! The doctor also understood what was going on, and he was full of disdain for this family of 5. Unexpectedly, they went to someone else's house and stole their daffodils. They were poisoned and sent to the hospital after eating them as leeks. It was really shameful. So she said lightly, Let me tell you about your current situation, because I have washed your stomach, so your major problem is gone. But daffodil works in the blood. So next, you need to give you fluids to neutralize the toxins in your blood. Upon hearing this, Mrs. Wilson hurriedly said, Okay, you should dispense us the medicine quickly, use the best medicine, and don't take the second time to perfuse us. The medical staff glanced at Mrs. Wilson and the others and said faintly, Don't worry, our hospital is a regular hospital. The medication is rigorous, and there will be no shoddy things. Mrs. Wilson breathed a sigh of relief. That's good. However, at this moment, a medical staff came in and sent a list to the doctor. Holding the test report, the doctor immediately frowned and asked, Which one of you is Haraya? Hearing this, the Wilson family was taken aback for a while, and then Haraya asked suspiciously, I am. What's the matter? The doctor looked at Haraya and said seriously, That's it, because you need to use drugs to synthesize the narcissus in your body. So I want to explain to you in detail about the use of drugs and the side effects because you are an elderly pregnant woman. Pregnant women have strict control on the dosage of the medicine. Otherwise, it will have teratogenic effects on the child in your stomach, so we can only give you a very small dose of medicine. So your recovery speed will be slower than other people. What the hell? Older pregnant women? One stone stirred up 1,000 waves. For an instant, everyone in the Wilson family was dumbfounded. Haraya is pregnant? What the feck is this? Among the 4 members of the Wilson family, the most shocking is her husband Noah. He knew very well that he had the same sound with Haraya 2 days ago. Before that, the two had been separated for a long time. During that time, Haraya had been in the black coal kiln, and he had never seen her. Moreover, Noah still remembers a detail in his heart. When Haraya set up Elaine, Haraya happened to be in her menstrual period, and she complained to him that her aunt would not come early or late, so she had to come when she was ready to do it. This proves that she was not pregnant when she disappeared. As a result, she is pregnant now? What does this prove? This proves that her pregnancy happened during the period of disappearance. That is to say, this shameless woman slept with other men in the black coal furnace. As the person who came by, Mrs. Wilson also immediately found out what was wrong. Haraya herself was struck by lightning, and she slumped in an instant, as if she had been taken out of her bones, turning into a mess. She opened her mouth wide. Her face was full of panic, and she blurted out subconsciously, What is pregnancy? I am old. How can I be pregnant? You are a medical staff. What nonsense. This is slander, rumors. When the doctor heard this, he suddenly said, Mrs. Wilson, what do you mean? How could I spread the rumors? The blood test report in my hand clearly stated that the progesterone in your body is very high. High, according to the numerical inference, you have been pregnant for about 2 months, and the fetus is almost forming. Haria knew this kind of thing very well in her heart, and she couldn't admit it to Death. Otherwise, how would her husband think of her, how her mother-in-law would think of her, and how would her children think of her? So Haria decided not to let go of her mouth. So she looked at the doctor and observed angrily, "You bullshit. It is impossible for a person my age to get pregnant. You have definitely misdiagnosed."